What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Exchange. You guys know me, Brad, back with my co-host Tim. On this week's episode, we are going to jump into Wild Card Weekend, and we are going to go over everything that happened in that. But before we go ahead and jump into that, make sure you hit that like, subscribe button. It really helps us out, really helps spread the channel. Next thing you need to do, hit that notification bell so you get updated every time we upload a new video. Next thing, go ahead, down in the description. He got the Facebook page up there. Eventually, he'll get the Twitter page up there, but it's not on me anymore.
You still got to run it.
I am, but you still got to put the link up.
Yeah, I will.
So now that we're done arguing about that, we are going to jump in to the review of Wild Card Weekend for the NFL right now.
Nobody pray for me. It been a day for me. Yeah.
Hold up, bitch, sit down. Little bitch, be humble. Bitch, sit down.
Yeah.
Hold up, bitch, sit down. Little bitch, be humble. Bitch, sit down. Be humble. Sit down.
So, with Wild Card Weekend under wraps, this was a great weekend of football.
It was.
We had some late game blowouts. We had great back and forth battles, and of course, we had a favorite, the come from behind victory. So we're going to start with that one: the Chargers and Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence is lucky he wasn't booed out of Jacksonville.
Absolutely.
After throwing 4 interceptions in the first half, which in return was the reason the Chargers went up 27-0. You'd think the game was over.
I definitely thought the game was over at that point.
But to think, we've already seen a 33-point comeback.
We have.
So why not a 27?
So watching the end of the first half, like, you can kind of see the momentum kind of start swinging a little bit away from
Chargers.
Chargers.
I don't know what the Chargers were doing.
But they seemed to be struggling towards the end of the end of the first half. Like, it looked like they were struggling to move the ball. So what happens next, I guess you could kind of see coming, but 27 points seemed like such a big deficit, especially the way Trevor Lawrence played in the first half.
Yeah. So Trevor Lawrence just went out there. Doug Peterson set him down at halftime. We're just going to take this one play at a time. We're going to forget what just happened in the first half, go out there, and that's exactly what they did. Doug Peterson was a gutsy call going for 2 points late in the game. The Jags eventually made a game-winning field goal as time expired. With the lead being blown, a lot of the blame goes to Coach Brandon Staley. Do you think he'll get fired?
I don't think
This offseason?
I don't think he'll get fired this offseason.
'Cause I think it would already happen if it was going to.
Probably. But, man, you can't have many of those.
No.
You really can't. Like, your team had it in the bag.
Yeah, seriously.
And you came out and you laid a goose egg in the second half. Not a goose egg, they scored 3. But but you came out and you laid an egg.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that in meaningful football games.
No, and with Jacksonville only converting twice on third downs, like, what needs to happen to this offense to be more consistent? Because they can't do that against the Chiefs.
So, I think a big thing with this offense is they have aging skill players. I think they need, like, don't get me wrong, Keenan Allen, still really good player. Obviously, he's not what he used to be. I
was talking about Jacksonville. But you can go ahead.
Jacksonville. Oh, I was talking about.
No, Jacksonville only converted twice on third down.
No, well, that's fine. They still won the game. I'm talking about the team that lost.
Okay, go ahead.
But
I mean, you got a point.
I do.
Sorry.
But
I should just keep going.
But the Chargers, I think they need to get some young skill talent in there for Justin Herbert, because I think Justin Herbert could be the guy. But you really need to start looking at revamping the skill positions And obviously, I think you still need to take a look at some of the offensive line positions because Justin Herbert's under fire quite a bit.
Yeah.
But I think you have your quarterback. I think you just need to put a few pieces around him. And I think this offense could take off. Obviously, the defense needs some work because they gave up 31 points in the second half. But that's my outlook on the Chargers. Jacksonville, what do they need for the offense to be more consistent? I mean, Trevor Lawrence. He's got to step his game up. Like I said on Twitter, this isn't the first half of that game wasn't the Trevor Lawrence that we'd seen the last half of the year.
No.
So, but it was his first playoff game. So, really, honestly, his first meaningful or super meaningful game he's played in the NFL. So, I'm sure there were nerves there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious to see how he comes out and plays against Kansas City.
All right. So, one last thing of this game. What did you think of the Joey Bosa incident? Was it warranted or just completely unnecessary?
I guess I don't know what was said.
So I'll let you know what happened. So on a crucial down,
Yep.
Jaguars player clearly false start. Wasn't called. Joey Bosa tried to get to the quarterback, couldn't do it. Ref blew the call, and he was mad that the call was blown. So then he slammed down his helmet and got an unsportsmanlike conduct.
Well, I thought his helmet. I thought he was still on. So
He's on the field.
from what I see, I didn't see him throw his helmet.
Oh yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't see that.
He slammed it down. Someone picked it up to him, and then he slammed it on the sideline again.
Holy Bosa incident.
All right. So what did you think about the Joey Bosa incident? Warranted or unnecessary?
Was his actions necessary? Probably not. I don't think he needed to throw his helmet.
I mean, if he would have just taken 2 more steps off to the sideline, no flag.
I mean, that's probably true. But
Because the flag was, you can't take your helmet off on the field.
So, like, was it warranted him throwing his helmet? I understand he was upset. I do.
Yeah.
I get.
I mean, these refs have been blowing calls all year.
I mean, that's absolutely true. And they blew 2 of them on that same play because he got held and it was a false start.
Yeah.
So, but was throwing his helmet warranted? Probably not. That's a piece of safety equipment, and I mean, you don't know what kind of damage you're doing to it if you take a shot to the head next time. That, you know, maybe it doesn't do what it's supposed to do. But do I think the penalty needed to be thrown?
I mean, it's
I
a
don't
rule.
think I
It's a
don't think
rule.
that either. But well, they're blowing calls.
I know.
Why not let it go?
Blatantly just, you see it.
Still,
Everyone sees
the
it.
refs are awful. They're terrible.
I'm not disagreeing with you.
They're terrible. If you're gonna blow calls, you might as well blow them each way.
I'll tell you what, if they like blow calls and they ruin the Super Bowl or any playoff game remaining, NFL is going to have a lot of heat going toward them.
They already have a lot of heat towards it.
I'm just saying more.
Oh, well, absolutely. But what I'm saying is if you're gonna blatantly miss calls, then just keep your whistle down your throat. You know, don't blow the whistle at all.
All right.
Just let them play.
Okay.
Let people take cheap shots. Stomp on some people. Don't blow your whistle because you suck at it.
You good?
Fuck the refs.
God.
Worthless pieces of shit.
All right. Next up, we have the Dolphins versus the Bills. This game is way closer than we thought it would be, and with Tua not playing. The Dolphins just a field goal away from tying this game up, and we know Josh Allen's reputation with coin tosses. He did not want that game to go to overtime whatsoever. This Buffalo defense is not what we saw earlier in the year. Is this just wear and tear, or are teams finding ways to create holes?
So there were 2 games this weekend that if the starting quarterbacks were there for those teams, I think it goes the opposite direction.
Okay.
This game is one of them. I think if Tua plays, I think the Dolphins win this game.
Yeah.
The way that the Bills played. I don't know if it's just teams finding ways to make holes or to find holes, but something is off a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if players are just out of position just a little, and it's creating those holes for the offenses. But man, it was close. It was a lot closer than, like you said, than anybody really thought.
Yeah.
I thought for sure the Bills were going to come in here and just take care of business and move on, but that was far from what happened.
Right. And they had 4 fumbles during that game. They only lost 1 of them.
Yeah.
But if they do that next week,
Oh yeah.
there's no coming back.
No.
So next up we have the Vikings and Giants. I don't care what anyone says. This game was not Kirk Cousins' fault.
I just don't like Kirk Cousins.
He played a great game and was held back from horrible situational football calls by the coaching staff. 4th and 8, and you called that play when the offensive line couldn't hold anyone back all game. You had to have known Cousins wasn't going to get time enough for that play to develop,
Right.
which is why he checked it down 2 yards when he needed 8. He can't take a sack. He'll get just murdered if he just takes a sack. He's got to get rid of the ball.
You can only do so much.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I've been on this show plenty of times and voiced my disdain towards Kirk Cousins. I just don't like him. I don't think he's a good quarterback. But, like you said, the coaching staff put him in a unwinnable situation, considering their offensive line couldn't stop the Giants from penetrating all night.
No.
So, like you said, like the fact that they thought that he was going to have time to let a play develop was kind of asinine thought. So he made the right decision to check it down and at least give somebody a chance,
Yeah.
to try to make a play. But you can't expect him just to heave it into traffic. Like, obviously all quarterbacks are taught not to just heave it into traffic. Like, that's
Even
like
with Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that's like the number one thing you don't do. But, so he made a good decision as far as quarterback play, but the coaching staff really let him down right there.
Right. And, like, Cousins went 31-39, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. I think he just got over 300 passing yards. The defense let him down. The run game couldn't get going. A lot of factors played into this loss, and let's not forget that the Giants have turned into a pretty good football team. Jones looks like a different quarterback out there, along with Barkley, putting all his naysayers to bed. So watch out for the G-Man.
He had a huge game.
Yeah.
Saquon did.
So should the Giants sign both Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley in the offseason?
That's a tough question. I absolutely think they should try to sign Saquon. Yeah, Daniel Jones is playing better right now, but is he the long-term answer? Because you've seen more bad than you have good from him. Or do you look elsewhere and then, maybe sidestep back to him after you haven't found something else? So, I would definitely say you want to sign Saquon Barkley. I don't know about Daniel Jones yet.
Okay. I would sign both of them. I would sign Daniel Jones to a 3-year, Barkley 4 to 5. So will Kirk Cousins be back in Minnesota next year, or will they try to trade him and get rid of that big deal they signed him?
I think Kirk Cousins is there to stay.
He's there.
As long
So,
as.
yeah, so do I. So, what about Dalvin Cook? Is it time they look for a trade to a team that is trying to rebuild and just needs some bandages, like the Falcons, Cardinals, Bears, Texans?
Probably.
Just try to get some picks.
I would probably say yes, it's time to try to move on from Dalvin Cook. He's been very injury prone over his career. So if you can move, I don't know what his contract looks like right now, but if you can move those numbers, get that extra cap space and go get a running back in the draft. There's some good ones coming out in the draft. So if you can go out and get a running back in the draft, because obviously running backs don't go very high. So,
No.
I mean, you could get down to 2021, and you could still have a shot at Bijan Robinson possibly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would say, yes, it's time to move on. He's kind of an aging running back, and I think his prime years are probably behind him right now. So, I would agree with moving on to Dalvin Cook right now.
All right, so do I. Seahawks and 49ers. We were watching this game while we were waiting to meet with the owner of Bud's Bar, and from the start, it looked like the Niners all the way.
Yeah.
And it was. The Niners racked up 500 total yards. Brock Purdy is making very hard for the 49ers boardroom next year on their plans at quarterback.
Yeah.
Because they're not paying him a lot of money. He was a 7th round pick.
He was Mr. Irrelevant.
Yeah.
The last pick of the draft.
So they got him for whatever his deal is, but I know it can't be much.
This right here shows, like, if you put the right pieces around
Mm-hmm.
the quarterback, like, if you have a competent quarterback and you have the right pieces around him, especially with a stout-ass defense, that you can go out and win games.
Right.
Big games. So, man,
Yeah.
I really like the Niners.
Yeah. All right. So you like the Niners. Who do you see being able to beat the Niners in the NFC?
Nobody.
Nobody. We felt the same way last week. Just the way that they're playing, especially the way they played against Seattle. That defense was swarming to every ball. And the offense with Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, Dabo, Debo. Yeah, I don't know how to say Dabo. Debo and
Don't put disrespect on his name like that.
George Kittle. Good Lord. So what's missing for Seattle to compete versus teams like San Francisco?
A stout-ass defense?
Okay. So they got to work on defense. You think their offense is all right?
I think it's okay.
They got Kenneth Walker, young running back.
They got
DK.
DK. I mean, they still have Lockett.
Yeah, Tyler Lockett.
So, I mean, they have pieces. Could be quarterback. I like Geno.
I like Geno, but
But you need...
I don't think he's a franchise quarterback. He was a Band-Aid.
He was.
And he turned out to be a really good Band-Aid.
Yeah, held on for a long time.
Yeah.
Still hurt to rip it
He's even
off.
waterproof. Bengals versus the Ravens. This one was one of the best games to watch. With it being the third time these teams have played this year, it was a damn chess match out there that nobody was batting an eye, especially Joe Burrow, who was poised as ever, whether it be on the sideline or under center. What has made the Bengals offense stall out is a little bit before the playoffs in the game. Like, we see it happen. What is the cause of it? Or what do you think the cause of it? I mean, I know you don't really know, but...
I don't really know. I mean, to me, it looked like the Ravens were getting pretty decent pressure on Joe.
Yeah.
So I think teams are running more blitzes or bringing that extra person to try to get him off rhythm. Because a lot of these routes with the receivers that he has, like, they obviously take time to develop. So they're bringing more people than the Bengals can block.
Mm-hmm.
Plus the run game. The run game has not been good. And if the run game's not good, guess what? Them linebackers, them defensive ends, they can just pin their ears back
Mm-hmm.
and come after the quarterback because there's no threat of the run. You have what should be a top 5 back in the backfield, and you can't run a football.
Nope.
And honestly, Samaje Perine has looked better than Joe Mixon this year.
Right. That was my next question. Do they need to bring in Perine to balance their rushing attack?
Like, obviously you don't want to take Mixon out, but
Well, I mean, Perine only had like 2 rushes.
he needs more than that, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Because when I watch the Bengals, Perine looks like the better back right now.
It seems like Perine doesn't hesitate.
No.
He'll just hit the hole.
See, like, I hate to go back to college, but that was my issue with Travion Henderson this year. He just looked like he'd get to the line and he'd hesitate and he'd stutter step. Just hit the hole.
Yeah.
All right.
Next up, we have the Buccaneers and Cowboys. We do not have to watch Tom Brady in the playoffs anymore this year. What we do get is more time to see people sit and wait for the demise of the Cowboys' playoff run.
It's only a matter of time.
I tell you this. Though that defense was swarming like bees on honey.
You and your
I know.
algorithms today.
But, okay, I'll let that one fly.
I'm just saying. He had the Notre Dame one.
With Dallas playing the Niners next week, what do they need to worry about more? Their defense or their Niners defense?
Both. Both equally.
Just both equally.
Both equally, because that Niners defense is going to come for their heads. Dak.
The leading interception.
Dak should fake an injury so he doesn't get hit by this defense.
Okay.
And they got to worry about their defense because the 49ers have so many weapons on offense.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy can throw it to whoever he wants to. And Christian McCaffrey just casually breaks, 50-yard runs every now and again.
Yeah. So I hate to bring up your Ohio State Buckeye, but
That's all right.
is this Elliott's last year in Dallas? He had 13 carries for 27 yards.
Probably.
He's not a factor.
No, probably. It's probably his last year in Dallas.
Okay. So
I don't know. Jerry Jones likes him. Who knows?
I know he likes him, but
So I don't know. Maybe.
another thing with the Cowboys Bucs game, the kicker,
5 missed extra points.
and they just signed ex-Patriots kicker. Can't remember his name, but they put him on the practice squad.
It
So
wasn't Goskowski, was it?
no.
No.
So they could be making a switch there, kicker.
I would. Shit. Put me in.
I think the funniest thing is
I could kick an extra point.
after every missed field goal or extra point. They look up, put the camera on Jerry Jones, and he's just sitting there, just like, what are we doing? Like the Cowboys were just waiting for the Buccaneers to make a run, and that would be the storyline. 4 or 5 missed extra point field goals is the reason Tom Brady beats the Cowboys in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So
Luckily for us, that never happened.
yeah. So now here are next week's divisional round matchups. We have Jaguars and Chiefs, Giants and the Eagles, Bengals and Bills, Cowboys, 49ers.
So, what game do you think is going to be the most exciting next week? I know which one's going to have the most emotion.
Oh, Bengals and Bills. The most exciting, I think it's going to be Giants and Eagles.
I was thinking that as well.
Because they just played 2 or 3 weeks ago, and the score was 22-16. So
But they didn't have Jalen Hurts.
they did have Jalen. No, wait, no.
No, they didn't.
Yes, they did. The last game of the year,
Oh,
Jalen
was
Hurts
it?
played. It was week 18.
Oh, did it?
Yep.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was week 18.
Yeah.
I thought it was longer ago.
Yeah, I don't know what to expect with the Jaguars and Chiefs. I hope, Trevor Lawrence goes out there, takes care of business, and knocks out the Chiefs.
I know.
Whatever.
Patty Mahomes.
Whatever. I just want to see an easier road for either Bengals or Bills.
I want to see the best 2 teams play.
Yeah, I know. All right, now into the news portion.
Oh, boy.
Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers said he feels he can still win MVP, but in the right situation.
So, does
Put
this...
into that whatever you want.
Does that like tip his hand a little bit? Like, does that say, hey, like, I'm looking for other opportunities here, or
I mean, the
Or is
Packers
that-
signed him for 3 years, $150 million.
they did?
He's already played 1 year of that, so it's still a lot of money for someone to take.
But I think doesn't he have like an option?
I don't know all the clauses and everything about it. But, oh, man.
It seems
I don't
like
know how much of it was guaranteed.
It seems like he was
Yeah.
tipping his hand a little bit.
I don't know.
Vegas, here he comes.
Chargers fire offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi and quarterback coach Shane Day.
Good move.
Yeah, good move. I never liked Joe Lombardi when he was the Lions offensive coordinator. He had very select plays, and they just seemed to always be predictable.
Yeah. No, good move by the Chargers. Tom Brady, not ready to decide on his future in football.
No. I hate that people do this, but I understand it doing a podcast now, why they have to ask.
Yeah.
But it was right after the game. There's no way he's got an answer for you.
They don't care.
No. But it's like they have to ask the question.
I wish we could get our press credentials.
That would be sweet. I was thinking of, about doing, or talking to you about doing, since we know a lot about Notre Dame and Ohio State, we go to the Blue and Gold game, do a show there. Not go to the game, but like tailgate, do a show right there in the parking lot. Then we go to Columbus for the Scarlet Gray game, do another one there.
That'd be insane.
Yeah.
We would need some financial backing to make that happen.
We plan on going to those games, hey,
Yeah.
but we wouldn't have to spend money on the tickets. It would just be gas.
I mean, I'd still want to go to the Ohio State game. Not gonna lie to you.
All right, so we'll do a pregame show and then go, or a postgame. I don't know. Just a thought. Browns are going to hire former Lions head coach Jim Schwartz as their defensive coordinator.
It's not a bad move.
No, I don't hate the move, but I don't know. Buccaneers. What? Oh. Okay. Buccaneers receiver Gage, I can't remember his first name.
I can't either.
Has movement in all his extremities after being carted off the field in Monday night's game. So good news there.
That is good news, but you had me so confused with the way you had that written.
Yep, I need to type that out better. Sean Payton is strongly considered taking the Houston Texans job.
I think he's going to end up in Carolina.
Okay. Depends on who they pick.
Huh.
He probably might like that draft pick that they got.
He might.
Lions offense coordinator Ben Johnson is going to stay with Detroit. That is huge. For people just wanting to stay, not for more money, he just wants to stay and look this thing out.
You can't ever fault the guy for wanting to stick something out and see what happens. But there's a but here.
But
if shit regresses and the Lions are the Lions of old next year, I hope they're not. But if they are, he just passed up his opportunity to have some big money. I understand why everybody wanted him to stay. Oh, I do. Trust me. But if it doesn't look like it did this year,
with that talent, I don't see how it could.
Yeah, but lots of people say that. Like you would think with Denver this year, they should have been a contender.
No, Denver was very mismanaged.
I'm not saying
that wasn't with the players. That was,
I don't know. Russell Wilson looked like a dumpster fire.
well, you put him in situations like the coach said.
He should go play at Texas A&M.
Oh, good Lord. All right, that is going to wrap it up for this show. If you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you get updated whenever we upload a video. We're doing 3 shows a week now, 1 college, 2 NFL. And when you're done doing that, go ahead and check the description. That's where to find the link to our Facebook page and our Twitter handle. Go ahead and check those out. And Super Bowl Sunday, we will be at Bud's Bar in Schoolcraft, Michigan, doing a live show. Bud's Bar has been kind enough to let us do a show there. We're going to be doing games, prizes. We're working on the things.
Working on the details. We're working on the details, but we'll have shirts to give away. Hopefully,
gotta make the shirts.
Gotta make those.
They're too expensive to order.
Well, they are. They're way expensive.
Just for 12, I think it was like $364.
Yeah. So hopefully we will have shirts to give away. But no, like he said, huge thanks to Bud Bar for giving us the space to go out and do this. This will be our first ever live show. And Tim was nervous when we were talking to the owners. So
Yep.
So this ought to be exciting. So with all that being said, everybody have a great day. We're out.